So here I thought we were at the same starting point, and we weren't. She was already miles ahead of me in her wealth consciousness, which made growing her business so much easier. And in the meantime, I was like, what's wrong with me? Well, there was nothing wrong with me. I was just approaching this from a way that wasn't healthy. I was comparing myself so much to other people, or comparing myself to where I thought I should be relative to where I actually was, that I was in a constant state of judgment of myself. And I was in a constant state of defeatism because I didn't think anything would ever change. And those are some of the results we get from living in self-doubt. Good morning, prosperity seekers, and welcome to another episode of the Prosperity Approach podcast. I have been looking forward to this episode to really talk about the thing that tends to pull most of us out of the game before we really can even get any sort of attraction on what it is that we want to create. And we're going to talk all today about how to dissolve self-doubt. How do we get out of that second guessing? How do we get to the place where we can make decisions quickly, make decisions confidently, and move forward in those decisions rather than constantly going back and forth about whether the decision we made was the right one, what happens if things fall apart, how are we going to handle it, and really just stepping into that version of us that has that confidence and is not plagued by that self-doubt all the time. Now, make sure you stay with me clear until the end, because I'm going to share some really powerful yet practical techniques that you can do to quickly dissolve self-doubt. Now, I am intimately acquainted with self-doubt. When I first started my business, I bathed in self-doubt. I showered in it all day. I ate it. I drank it. I slept in it. I lived and breathed self-doubt. Now, I don't recommend that you do that. It's very, very difficult to create any kind of a reality that you want when you are doubtful of your ability to actually do it, and you continually affirm to yourself that this is too big for you. When we have that self-doubt and that second guessing, first of all, it's a really exhausting state of mind to live in, because we live in FOMO, fear of missing out, but then we live in constant fear that we're going to make the wrong choice. And so we don't allow ourselves to make mistakes. Even if we allow ourselves to make a decision, we then immediately go into, oh shoot, maybe I should have done it this way, or maybe that was the wrong one, and can I take it back? And we just don't trust. We don't trust ourselves. We don't trust the process. We don't trust God. And we are just left feeling vulnerable and exposed and, waiting for the other shoe to drop. And we have this self-doubt presents itself in us having our feet planted in two different camps. And one of them is, trying to escape, and the other one is trying to move forward. And there's a lot of turmoil that is experienced when you're in self-doubt. And that's what I was in for years and years. One of the ways that self-doubt presented itself was me overcompensating in my own business, in my mothering, in my wifing, in every area of my life, I started to overcompensate because I didn't think that I was enough just as I was to make the kind of difference or the results that I wanted to make in my life. So I'm a recovering people pleaser. And I was a massive, massive people pleaser back then to my clients. I was able to have, actually, surprisingly enough, some very strong boundaries with my children. And so we didn't have, I didn't have the issue of them trying to take advantage of me or me feeling like a doormat all the time. But I was constantly questioning my mothering abilities. Was I ruining my children? Was I doing the things that would be the best for them? It affected every area of my life. And with my clients, it presented itself as overcompensating and over-delivering, but not in healthy ways. So I want to be really clear about that. We hear in business all the time, we want to under-promise and over-deliver. And I agree with that. I really want to go above and beyond with my clients, but I want to do that in every area of my life. I want to go over and above being a really great wife to Jeremy and being the best mother that my children need. And being the best girlfriend to my girlfriends. I really want to go above and beyond. But what happened with me being living in self-doubt all the time is that it was just a whole bunch of people pleasing. And so I wasn't honest with my clients about what I could see that they couldn't see because I was afraid to offend them. Now, I didn't, blow sunshine up their pants all day long and, not actually show up for them. I showed up for them as powerfully as I could and with the greatest amount of integrity that I could. But it was always with this, did I do enough? Did I do enough? Am I enough yet? Am I enough yet? And that is not a healthy state to live in, especially if you're going to be a mentor or a coach or an influencer of some kind. Because if you're always afraid that you're not enough or you're doubting your own abilities, people are going to pick up on that energy and it becomes a very repelling kind of an energy. When I would look at new opportunities, new situations, new challenges, like anything new that would drop into my life, I viewed it as kind of a level 10 challenge or a level 10 problem, even a level 10 opportunity. And I looked at myself as a level 3 person. And so circumstances were always bigger than I was, even my dreams. And stay with me here, track with me here. We want our dreams to be bigger than us. But my dreams were so much bigger than me that I was like, that's a level 10 dream and I'm a level 3 person. And only level 10 people can get level 10 dreams. And so I was defeated before I even started. It was demoralizing to live in that kind of a belief system that everything was too big for me. Nobody was going to help me. I was on my own to try to figure anything else out. I don't actually make a difference. So what am I doing? It made it really difficult, quite honestly, for me to get up in the morning. I remember and this was even before the financial freefall we were in, but I would get up every day, Monday through Friday, and my first thought was, I don't want to do this day. I don't want to do this day. But we need to do this day. We need to show up, get up, go work out, go take a shower. But I always started from this place of defeat, especially those days where I was talking with clients. I was like, okay, I got to just make sure I'm really clear for them and that I can bring it. It was just a life that I was trying to escape all the time, but I was trying to escape me all the time and all of the self-doubt all the time. And when you do that, it slows down your progress, but it also you just feel overcome all the time. I think it's why people operate in overwhelm so much of the time, because they look at all of these things to do and this seemingly really short time frame to do it in. And they're like, I can't do that. I'm not that kind of a person. That's a level 10 task list and I'm a level 2 person, and a level 2 person can't possibly get through that task list. And I'm just overwhelmed. That's where I was operating from because of my perspective about me and my ability to meet the challenges and meet the opportunities and be able to grow. One of the other things that doubt does is it puts you into comparison mode really, really quickly. And you tend to compare yourself with other people. But more insidious than that is you're comparing your weaknesses with somebody else's strengths, or you're comparing your starting place, thinking that it's somebody else's starting place as well. I remember in one of the first business groups that I was in, there was another woman who was in the same industry that I was, and she was just killing it in that industry. She was brand new to entrepreneurship like this, and she was making $8,000 a month, $10,000 a month, and she'd only been in business for like 4 or 5 months. And so I thought, oh, wow, look at this. She's doing the same thing I'm doing. I should be able to do that too. I thought we were starting at the same place, and we weren't. She had a much larger wealth consciousness than I had at the time. She was already used to making $8,000 a month, $10,000 a month and more. She had a husband who was very successful in his corporate job, and she had worked other jobs before that were very lucrative. And so she was used to large amounts of money coming to her quickly. But I hadn't had that experience yet. I still ran the belief system that money was hard to make. It was hard to come by. It was hard to be consistent. I had to work long and hard and struggle for any sort of amount of money to come. And so life showed up for me that way. So here I thought we were at the same starting point, and we weren't. She was already miles ahead of me in her wealth consciousness, which made growing her business so much easier. And in the meantime, I was like, what's wrong with me? Well, there was nothing wrong with me. I was just approaching this from a way that wasn't healthy. I was comparing myself so much to other people, or comparing myself to where I thought I should be relative to where I actually was, that I was in a constant state of judgment of myself. And I was in a constant state of defeatism because I didn't think anything would ever change. And those are some of the results we get from living in self-doubt. So we got to stop it. We got to stop it. Okay, but how do we do it? All right. You know that I am the queen of how. I really like walking through how to do something so we can take this theory and make it work in our own life. So there's a number of things that you can do. The first thing that I would recommend that you do, what I did to help me get out of the self-doubt, is to decide that whatever was showing up for me was there because I was ready for it. The most transformational point in my life was when somebody said, Allyson, this isn't happening to you. This is happening for you. So if this is happening for you, where is the good? And it wasn't like this fold my arms, like, prove it to me. It was profound. Nobody had ever said that to me before. It instantly popped me out of feeling like I was a victim and helpless to change my circumstances because I was waiting for other people to change and to show up in their integrity, and they weren't going to do it. But when I was told nothing happens to you, everything happens for you, then I started looking at how this situation was happening for me. So decide that if it's a level 10 problem or a level 10 challenge or a level 10 issue, it's here because you're ready for it. And also decide that this is here to assist you in your growth and to assist you ultimately in experiencing more joy. That's what all of our experiences are here for us. All of our circumstances, all of our situations are here so that we can increase our capacity to feel more joy. And the more catastrophic the situation is, the greater the potential for joy is also in that. And when you will decide that, it makes the handling of anything that has come at you much easier to do. It allows you to be in grace and in ease and in flow through the entire process. But guess what? You also get to decide that the opportunities that come for you are also here because you're ready for it. You know, when you get more clients that come in, or you get a promotion that's presented to you, or another job opportunity that's presented to you, or a relationship that you get to repair or restore or enhance or whatever that is, like those really fun things are also there because you're ready for them. And too often we think, oh no, I'm not ready for this. I need to get more training. I need to get another certification. I need more degrees behind my name. I need to take another course. I'm just not ready for that yet. And yet, when those opportunities come, it's because you are at a frequency that is a match to those opportunities. Now, does that mean you have to take every single opportunity that comes? No, of course not. This is where you start to skill up in your confidence of making a decision and making that decision right, and knowing that you will make that decision right as you go, and that you will learn the skills that you need to learn, and you have it all right now to move forward. And that the people that are being led to you are here because you can actually help them right where they are. And you don't need to be miles ahead of the people that you want to help. You really only need to be one step ahead of them. This has been proven to me over and over again throughout my career. I will have gone through a bit of a rough patch, learned the lesson, processed through it, figure out some techniques that help me get through that with grace and ease and joy. And without fail, I will have a client that will go through something really, really similar like the next week. And I just think, well, this is wonderful. This is amazing, because I don't need to tell them, hey, I just came out of this 48 hours ago, but I can say, oh, this is interesting because I had something similar happen just recently. And so it's fresh on my mind. I know exactly what I did. I can share those techniques and do some really powerful mentoring at that point because I've been there very, very recently. It wasn't like, oh, 15 years ago, something like that happened. Let me see if I can think what it was. I don't even remember the kind of person that I was 15 years ago, but I'll try. Like, the way that it unfolds is just so, so beautiful. You only need to be one step ahead of whoever it is that you're helping. I remember watching a show years ago. It was called Catch Me If You Can, and Leonardo DiCaprio and Tom Hanks were in it. And it was about the story of Frank Abagnale. DiCaprio played Frank Abagnale, and Hanks played the FBI agent who chased him for years because Abagnale was this con man who conned his way into being an airline pilot and an emergency room doctor and a professor at a university and all of these other jobs. And he ran from the FBI for years. And when he got caught, he actually was a professor at BYU for at least a semester. And I don't remember what class that he was teaching, but he didn't have any sort of authority or knowledge to be teaching this class. And yet he graded papers. He gave the students tests. He gave them grades. He showed up and lectured. He sold it. He was the professor. And they asked him how he was able to pull that off. And he looked at him and he said, "It was easy. I just read one chapter ahead from all of my students every week." He was only one chapter ahead. We only have to be one chapter farther along than the people that we're helping. So allow yourself to let some pressure off you, thinking that you have to know it all and be it all and have mastered it all before you can teach it or before you can influence anybody. That is just not true. When you realize that all of these things are here because you can handle it and they're here for your growth and for your ultimate joy, it does a number of things. First and foremost, it allows you to just give yourself a break. It takes off so much pressure because now you will allow yourself to make mistakes. You'll allow yourself to make mistakes and you'll allow the process to be messy when it needs to be messy. And there are times when it's going to be messy. I have a mentor who used to say, it's always awkward before it's elegant. And I really appreciated that because then I had permission to be awkward if it was going to be awkward. It wasn't just going to be this smooth, beautiful experience that I'd never done it before. So there's going to be some stumble parts. There's going to be parts that feel uncomfortable to me or a little bit stilted or whatever that is, but it's okay. It's uncomfortable until it's not. And I get to decide how long it's going to be uncomfortable. And I like that period of uncomfortable to be really, really, really short. But there is this bit of awkward before it's elegant, and that's all right. It's one of the ways that we dissolve self-doubt because we don't demand of ourselves perfection from this. When we understand, hey, I'm actually a level 10 person and this is a level 3 issue because I say so. Or this is a level 10 opportunity and I'm a level 10 person and that means I can meet this opportunity and grow it into something even better. Continually reaffirm to yourself that everything is here because you can handle it. That brought me a lot of comfort when I had situations that were heart-wrenching, when I had tough decisions to make, when I just kept reminding myself, this is here because I'm ready for it. This is here because I can handle it. And I am that level of a person. I can handle it. And it was, it was a little bit of a pep talk, but it was more just of a reminder more than a pep talk that, no, this is who I am. This is what this means. This means I'm ready to grow. This means I'm ready for next level. This means I can grow into this. It's all right that this opportunity feels a little bit big right now or really, really big right now. I can grow into it. It's here because I'm ready for it. One of my first mentors said that when she up-leveled her business and there were I think she had a meeting with a branding strategist or something, and what the vision that he came up with for her, she said, was so big to her that it took her 3 days to process through it. It made her so wildly uncomfortable because it was so big that she had to process. She had to sit with it for 3 days. And she was a multi-million-dollar business coach. So I thought, okay, that's all right when these opportunities or challenges or issues or problems feel too big for us initially. It's all right for us to just process and let it sit for a minute or two before we decide anything other than this is here because I can handle it. And this is going to lead to my good, my growth, and my ultimate joy. Be aware of any thought that comes that makes you feel like you're less than anything. be aware of those. We have all of these different pieces of ourselves. Some people will call them archetypes. I just call them different aspects of ourselves. And they're usually from different ages of our lives. And that's, we can tell our 15-year-old is trying to take over because we're behaving and thinking like a 15-year-old. Well, I have a part of myself that I like to call Panic at the Disco. She's very closely related to Little Miss Perfect, but this one just runs in fear all the time and just like panic all the time. Everything's going to fall apart. And so I used to try to just like ignore it and like, go away. I'm bigger than this. We can handle this. But that voice got louder and louder. So the doubt got louder and louder and more insistent that I was going to fail, and I was going to fail epically, and it was going to be a disaster. And so I finally just decided to answer the darn question because it was, what if this doesn't work? What if you fail again? What if you lose it all? And so I had to answer the question. And so there are times when your mind is being ridiculous and you just have to say, this is ridiculous. I'm not even going to play here because this is so ridiculous. But there are other times when it's very healthy and beneficial to answer the question. And so with me, it was, what if you fail again? And what if you can't make payroll? What if you can't make the bills again? And I had to answer it from a position of authority and a position of confidence and certainty. Well, if this strategy doesn't work, then another one's going to come. It's going to work. And if it doesn't, we're going to be okay. Because at the very least, I can scale back on payroll if I have to for a few months and then not pay myself as much. Like, okay, like we can do that. There's always different channels that you can make money. If I have to go donate plasma, then I'll go donate plasma. I'm really clear. I'll do whatever is required so that I can make my bills. Like, it'll be okay. I remember I had a mentor. I've had a lot of mentors over the years. I highly, highly recommend you get one. And she and her husband were in this free fall as well. And there was just so much fear around not being able to pay the heating bill. What happens if we can't pay the heat bill? Well, it was worth exploring that question. Okay, so let's say that, the gas company turns off the heat, and then what? I guess we'll have to put on jackets and layer up on our socks and maybe wear some boots and find all the blankets in the house and pile them on the bed so that we can stay warm. Okay. Can you do that? Yeah, we can do that. All right. And then, but what happens if now we have to pay a late fee? Okay. Well, how much is a late fee? Oh, probably $20. Well, okay. Can you probably handle that? Yeah, we can handle that. And so when you will actually just look at worst case scenario that your doubts are throwing at you and just answer them from confidence and certainty and we've got this, it calms those fears down and it allows you to actually grow your self-confidence and your trust in yourself, your trust in God, your trust in the process. It allows you to grow that so much faster because you're not trying to just kill the voice that's saying, what if we die? But you're also not diving off that what if we die cliff as well, that the self-doubt tends to present us with all the time. You can't do this. Who do you think you are? Oh, okay. So you get to answer that question with certainty, with confidence, with authority. I remember when I went to that retreat with my soon-to-be mentor, and I went there in confidence. I knew that what I was going to learn there would be really, really powerful because I'd followed the nudge. We didn't have any way for us to be there. I followed the nudge. This was my next step. I trusted that God would show me the way, i.e. the money. The money was there within 2 weeks. I knew it was going to be a powerful 2 days. And I went there with some very specific questions. I wanted to get back to $20,000 months. And I wanted a business plan that would allow me to do that within a year. But I wanted a way that was not traumatizing like the first time. I was not interested in struggling my way and hating life to try to get back to that amount. And then I thought, well, hold on. There was a lot of negative energy in those $20,000 months. So let's just go for broke. Let's just go crazy. Let's hit $30,000. Let's go back to $30,000 months. Because if I hit that, then I'll know I'm completely out of that energy. I'm completely out of that trauma that was 100% behind me and I never have to go back there. So that's what I came with. I wanted a plan for $30,000 months and I want it to be joyful and without any trauma. Well, the plan she gave me was a whole lot bigger than I went in there expecting to get. She said, why do we need to do this in a year? Can we do it in 90 days? What? I would prefer to do it in 90 days. Can we do that? Can we actually do that in 90 days? And it was ambitious. And I looked at that, my butt started to clench, and I started thinking, gosh, can I do that? And then the thought came to me, God sent you here. This is an inspired plan. This is backed by God. Like I really felt that I could trust it because I had trusted the steps that got me there in the first place. I knew there was going to be something powerful. It was beyond my imagination powerful. And that right there, making that decision, okay, this is here because I'm ready for it. Is this going to require me to skill up really quickly? Yes, it is. Am I willing to do that? Yes, I am. Do I want to skill up? Yes, I do. It was one great big yes after yes after yes. And it's because I made that decision that it was here because I was ready. I made the decision that I was a level 10 person and here is a level 10 growth opportunity. Before I had waited for people to tell me I was a level 10 person. I was wanting people to see something in me, that star quality people talk about, the it factor. Like I wanted somebody to see that in me, but I realized it didn't matter if the entire world saw that in me. If I didn't see it in myself, nothing would ever change. And then I also did not need to wait for somebody else to see it in me. If I saw it and I claimed it, that was permission enough to move forward. And so I said yes to that. I started where I was. I did what I knew how to do. I continued to follow the nudges. I played with it. There was a lot of play. There were a lot of mistakes. There was a lot of awkward before it became elegant. But I let the pressure off me because this was my thinking. Well, let's see how close we can get. Well, why not? We can only go up from here anyway. Let's see how close I can get. Suddenly it became this beautiful experiment. A lot of play, a lot of fun, so much joy and so many miracles. And there was no trauma in it. Was there discomfort? Yes. Did some things work while other things didn't? Yes. Through the whole thing. Were there nudges I followed that led nowhere or to seeming nowhere? Yes. But I still kept following. I still kept trusting. I still let it unfold. As I continue to remind myself and claim that I'm a level 10 person and this is a level 10 opportunity. It's one of the ways that we allow and give space for that joy in the journey, which I believe is a non-negotiable with whatever level you're wanting to get to. There must be joy in the journey and not just waiting for joy to be there in the destination. Because remember, the journey is the destination. So we got to have joy as we go. And then the destination will continue to dazzle and delight us. So I want to thank you for being here with me today in this episode. I hope some of those really boots on the ground, practical strategies helped. And I want you to do something really, really simple to get you going today in dissolving self-doubt. I want you to pull out a piece of paper and just write down what your biggest challenge is right now, or what your biggest opportunity is right now. And I want you to look at that and then just say out loud that this is a level 3 issue and I'm a level 10 person. This is here because I'm ready for it. This is here because I can handle it. And I just want you to look at that and just say that over and over again between 5 and 10 times. This is a level 3 challenge and I'm a level 10 person. You aren't looking for a solution right now. We got to start where you're at. And that is declaring and claiming who you are relative to whatever life is handing you. It's one of the most empowering things that you can do to dissolve self-doubt right from the get-go and open yourself up to the nudges and the inspiration and the revelation and the help and the connections that are all right there at your fingertips, just waiting for you to claim that. Thanks so much for being with me. I look forward to seeing you on our next episode of the Prosperity Approach podcast. Bye-bye.